Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I'm going to be reviewing an album from an act named Amityville, titled The Amityville Horror Show 3. And if we switch over to here, we have it on Spotify. We're going to be listening through each of these 15 tracks today from start till finish, so it's going to be a bigger video, but there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I typically have a good time with these longer reviews. Just a heads up in advance if you're like, why is this video like an hour long, okay? We're going to listen to, starting with the Hex, from start to finish here, what we think. Let's go. I'm loving the horror movie vibe here with the Foley. Sounds very dramatic, almost cinematic. Incredible sound design. You know what I love about the fact there's no words and it's almost an instrumental aside from the whispered voices from the ritual, I suppose, is that it lets your imagination run wild. It's a minute long. Nice easy way to get someone into an album. Instant vibe check.
Can you find me? Can you find me? I'm here. Behind you, look.
Oh, that's creepy. Behind you, look. I dig it. Through headphones. If you're listening to this in a dark room with no lights or anything like that, that'd be kind of unsettling, I'll be honest. Great first impression, Amityville. You know, it's really crucial with an album that you give the listener a taste of what's to come, and I think we've gotten that. It's reasonably unique. I haven't heard a lot of stuff like this. I look forward to hearing more. Unholy Spirits, Power of 3.
Holy spirits, blessed be. I'm resurrected by my power of 3. The ghostly hollows whisper to me. Kill them all, set me free.
Said to me, kill them all, set them free. Damn, dude, with the choir chanting, the piano. It's very tense off the bat. It does sound like it flows really well from the Hex intro. Fantastic. Stylistic consistency here. Let's continue.
Holy spirits, blessed be. I'm resurrected by
Great to have the drums come here for a little bit of extra development.
ghostly hollows whisper to me. Kill them all, set me free. Unholy spirits, blessed be. I'm resurrected by my power of 3. The ghostly hollows whisper to me. Kill them all, set me free.
To be honest, we don't need more than this. I like the extended hook at the start. You know, there's a sense of anguish in the voice there. Almost like we are literally going to murder a lot of people. I'm fascinated by this. If you think about it from like a base level, it's like, what kind of brand are we trying to instantiate for ourselves as a musician? It's sensible to create a niche, but also from like a personal perspective, it's nice that they've got their own sort of vibe check, you know, it's great.
All of my insults getting blatant. I've been running out of patience. Abnormal like the faded in the basement. You better not let us out the cages. Not unless you wanna know how to rage this. I know I ain't none of your favorites. It's time not killing with the basics. Clear your vision like it's LASIK. I'm the only one giving out faceless. So out of this world like spaceships. I'm watching that's alienated. It's the return of the dead, and you already know it's a brain that I'm craving. So no more waiting. I'ma say fuck you. I ain't playing when I say this. Now all of this started.
Dude. Fantastic check between the vocals, clean vocals at the start and the rapping. The flow is sublime, man. The words are coming through so clearly. The recording quality is sensational. Again, really great first impression to Amityville. I have a feeling this is going to be a lot of fun.
Harder, you know who the heart This is from the artist, never been harmless. Represent darkness from the land of the heartless. Regardless, carcass ripped apart by a harpist. Horror departments, all about maximum carnage. Just like Thomas Heartless, I don't know where my heart is. All this unholy.
Yeah, that great crescendo there, the increased intensity towards the end. Clear awareness that we can't just throw everything at the listener at first. We've got to introduce a bit slowly so that there's range and so that you almost get the feeling you aren't sure what's going to occur next. Because that's, outside of choruses, it's the most important thing you do, like in verses. If it becomes too predictable, people are just going to turn off.
Blessed be, I'm resurrected by my power of 3. The ghostly hollows whisper to me, kill them all, set me free.
Ah, kill them all, set me free. Not set them free. Sorry, I misheard that. Really subtle strings there as well, recording that groove.
Ghostly hollows whisper to me, kill them all, set me free. And Holy Spirits, blessed be, I'm resurrected by my power of 3. The ghostly hollows whisper to me, kill them all, set me free.
I'm sort of trying to figure out the angle is because, like, if you take it purely from the hook perspective, you know, like it's someone being summoned to the living world and to the living. Again, kill a lot of people. But I have a feeling it's more than that. That like it's also like an allegory for someone being brought back to sort of come to the top of the like talking about people giving people facelifts. I don't know if that's literal, like as in like that's like thematically that's a literal thing, or if it's a metaphor for like screwing people up or messing people up with your music, like taking names with it, that sort of thing. It's an interesting angle that I think we're gonna go through over time. Again, it does sound like at the end of days the apocalypse is coming and Amityville is responsible for it. So we'll see what happens in future. The laughing though, I dig it. Really creative, it's cool. Sound asleep.
I was sent down to earth just to hurt you fools. Not giving a fuck is what I'm supposed to prove. I know that I'm strange to some of you dudes. Better say a prayer or two at a pew. My dick got blanks now, I shoot in your boo. I mean to be rude, it's just part of my dues. The priest that I possess, he be back in a few. All hail the Marys, ready to spew. So for now...
Yeah, we're going through these horror movie vibes and some of the typical tropes like hip-hop and rap where you like, I've come down to earth to like mess with people and stuff like that, or kind of stake a claim to like your place in like the industry and stuff like that. I like the combination of these different aspects. The sub bass and that 808 is sublime but well balanced with the EQing and the compression limiting there. The drums are nice and punchy, side chaining well. Again, some sub layers with those melodic upper elements. The vocals being the focal point, but at the same time, there's enough in there to keep it sounding nice and round. And there's also room for further layers to be added, like these those arpeggios there from that kind of synthy string part.
That's why I say things to make you head to the roof. I'll even say shit to a bus full of Jews. I don't discriminate with the point I pursue, cause anybody could get the chainsaw to they ooze.
Damn, dude. Yeah, no, really. I kind of like that angle they're talking about. Anyone can get the chainsaw, he doesn't discriminate. It's kind of a beautiful thing when you think about it.
Fuck them all up till they bruise. Knock a few screws loose off if they boo. I burn your place down on the 10 o'clock news. Loaded up on YouTube for a couple of views. What makes you think you can really fuck with me? I ain't playing, bitch. Ain't nobody touching me. Truthfully, I'm the most ruthless, see? Can't you tell why I went to hell for free? Your soul's mine.
Dude, I love these upper falsetto bits. We're deliberately trying to shake up the way we approach the chorus and verses, both in regards to the vocal performance and also just the frequency spec ranges that we're in, you know. Going highlight that for the choruses with the harmonizing and everything like that kind of sounds like more of a kind of a group chantish kind of thing as opposed to Amityville in the verses where he's telling his side of things and he's doing it all alone.
If we playing for keeps, I ain't giving shit back to the end of the beat. And ask for me, I dare you to ask for me. I'm a nightmare you see when you sound asleep. I put my
Great. I'm glad that we got the resolution with the hook line at the end.
A lot of shit ain't clear, but one thing is for certain. Oh, you little baby should just get burping. I absorb the pain when it gets to the hurt. When it comes my way, I just give like I'm surfing. And when it comes to game, I can see bitches lurking. Got a couple dames that don't mind giving slurpings, but haters on the dick, all they do is just jerking. Don't you get it?
But haters on the dick, all they do is just jerking. Combining slurping with jerking like that, we got the facets of rap that we're all familiar with. But I like the sense of humor that we've got here as well. It's kind of dope. It doesn't feel kind of like off from what we've heard so far.
I'm here to make you do the impossible like a mission. There's a demon in all of us with the doctor's prescription. I'm not to be fucked with. I repeat it till you get it. Don't fuck with you critics. I'm the meanest that ever did it. When you see me on the scene, you know Ziggy is exquisite. Only way I get the cream is on my way to exhibits. So here's a frozen toast to my peers. I ain't driving Miss Daisy in the car off the pier. I got a strap to the back. And when I shift gears, it's off with your heads like I'm clipping with shears.
Off you here, well, like I'm clipping with shears. Dope. Yeah, again, we've got that imagery of people being murdered and chainsaws and everything like that continuing. It's almost like a nightmare that people never wish they could ever have. It's the form factor for the song as well is like 3.5 minutes, and it's just flown by so quickly. It's so easy to listen to this music despite the intensity and kind of the darkness and the foreboding of it all. It's kind of addictive in a weird way because it's so different than what I'm used to.
You can really fuck with me. I ain't playing, bitch. Ain't nobody touching me. Truthfully, I'm the most ruthless, see? Can't you tell why I went to hell for free? Your soul's mine now if we playing for keeps. I ain't giving shit back to the end of the beat. And ask for me, I dare you to ask for me. I'm a nightmare you see when you sound asleep.
Great work just having the instruments play it out. You know, we've told the story we needed to. We're just letting the piano hut there. It's great. You know, we're aware of the fact that we don't have an infinite amount of the listener's time, and we're simply just not taking that for granted. And we're providing some experiences that, while unique within their own rights and they have their own identity, also connect well and flow into each other, you know. The next track here, we've got Devolved. I'm wondering if that was meant to say Devolved. I think that's the track name was.
Yeah. Cold-hearted what it is. Yeah.
These reverse takes on those string parts are great. We've had some instruments follow us throughout the entire this album so far, like these string parts. I'm wondering if the drums and kick will continue as well.
I'm here to tell the whole world they better be aware. I ain't all a stein.
Is this the same 808 or a slightly different one? The percussion sounds different. I'm here to tell the whole world they better be aware. I ain't all a stein, but you in for a scare. Every day is Halloween, I make you live it in fear. I'm still go lie. I'm still doing circles around you lames, cause it's all fun and games like rig around a rosy. Burn you with the brodies from the ashes of the holy. Don't nobody know me, float mostly cold. The flow is strong. He's so quick, but the words come through clearly. That's practice and that's experience, and it's a pleasant time. You couldn't really get away with 15 tracks in an album where the person just was stumbling over their own syllables. You just can't. We don't have that experience here. Devolved, Goat Light 2, great choice.
I'm kinda ghostly, can't nobody hold me, better not approach me. Don't wanna get too close to the OG, saying in the VI double letter hell 3. A nightmare in Elm Street, kill you when you sound sleep. All the way to next week, I dare you to test me. Cut through the best sheets, then it gets messy. All of you two wrong fools getting Wesley. Quick like a Nestle, a slaughter of the best beats. Lady and machete, better get set beat. On my mark, but none of you ready, cause my shit kinda edgy. I'm still on the wave of the jet ski, but I'm gonna keep it pedal like a 10 speed. Simply cause y'all don't even press V. Wanna talk shit from afar, yeah, I see. You pussies wanna know what I got on my cup, so...
Dude, there's just so much information to take in. But it's not just that, it's the way that he's also showcasing a bit of his own personality within it. He varies the intensity and the cadence of these lines. It's so natural for Amityville to rap this well. And when you combine it with the instrumentation, which, while the arrangement isn't overly complicated, you know, you have like the drums, the bass, the synth parts, and some other modulations in there. It's almost like the intensity and complexity and the speed of the rapping kind of fills in any space there in a way that's meaningful though. And then we slow down for the hooks in a way that contrasts well and provides a distinction for those two sections.
You be like I see you be a menace to society, to the game. That's why I be in my own league. Follow me to the promised land where the sun is sand, where I kill with a romance, cold with a slow dance, flow with a whole plan that I got from a frozen mischance. I ain't even allowed to dive in the crowd, cause I might just have to wild out. Like a ball in the chain, I'm the fire in the flame, like I set in the horns in the Ville house. Said I'm here to tell the whole world, they better be aware. I ain't Orla Stein, but you in for a scare.
Nice Goosebumps reference there, dude.
I'm still go I said I'm here to tell the whole world, they better be aware. I ain't Orla Stein, but you in for a scare. Every day is Halloween, I make you live it in fear. I'm still go.
So we're talking like GOAT is in the greatest of all time. I don't go like greatest of all time, like, yeah. So we've come back from a free trip to hell, and we're the best. Yeah, exactly. Well, I talked about the typical kind of tropes of hip hop and rap, trying to get to the top of it and everything like that, and taking whoever you need to out on the way, in addition to the horror film kind of aesthetic there. It's a nice combination of elements and it makes sense. Yeah, you've got this kind of weird, kind of modulated, kind of mangled music box going on here. Very spooky. Very spooky. I think that literally was just him talking about what he's going to do now that he's come back and how people need to beware. They in for a scare. Sound Asleep, Unholy Spirits, and the Hex. They've got similar messages with slightly different angles. Slightly different. We've got March with Me though, including Buttons. Amityville and Buttons. Number 5. We're just racing through this album, dude. Oh, different way of approaching the percussion with this one. It's slower and more... kind of like it's dragging. It's got that kind of like dubbish kind of vibe to it.
I always hit him right where it hurts. Kill him with every line. Sisters that snatch and run, I'm gon' rob till they give me mines. I ain't gon' apologize. This is me otherwise. I be like everyone else. You know that ain't my vibe. So I gotta just take the time to abuse what I got in mind. Use all the hate to fuel my rage like in Columbine. Come in and...
Do we just bring up the school shooting in this? Damn, dude. Like, I'm not gonna get all you shouldn't talk about stuff, but that was a heavy hitter, man. Rage like in Columbine. Shit, man.
Just a blaze too raw to be televised. I've always been the truth. You can tell I don't rhyme a lie. I'm Georgie with the jokes. You know I don't underline.
Yeah, some lines of fire like rhyme a lie. That's a great line.
100 times piss you off even more. Then I just multiply in your minds. Live inside your head with thoughts till you horrified. I'm way beyond dope. I just took on the whole.
Nice way bringing the drums out at this point. It's nice to have a bit of space to allow the guitar to sit on the left.
Of cash, lumberjack skeleton is back with the bad rap. When I'm old, remember me. When I leave, I will be something more in your daughters that will bleed deep indeed. Yes, indeed. When you sleep, I will creep with my league in the shadows. You will see why they marching with me.
You will see why they're marching with me. I dig it. I vibe with that. I like it. It's kind of like, you will understand why people are with me. You will understand why there's that loyalty there. The guitar, the guitar is fantastic here. I like that change from the strings of the reverse synthy parts we had in the previous track. I think that's a nice change of texture in the song. You do need to have some point of difference between the arrangements and instrumental performances within these tracks, just so they don't sound too samey. It's okay if you have a similar type of drum tone or a similar type of bass tone or something in here. I think we have a similar type of 808 or maybe even just a typical bass synth here, but yeah, it's cool.
They marching with me. Marching with me. They marching with me.
Is there like actual sound of people marching? Is a Foley behind that?
Devour fame, I devour brains like it's chow mein. Cats know it's hard not being strong as though I'm proud saying. Bow low, not Prince but the blouse made for a bad dame. Bitch glow, games framed with a glass pane and a bad string. Got a tiptoe, ooh. She gotta stop, riding all on the block, even in lockdown. Trying been out of the box. I ain't a lane, I ain't a goat. I am a wolf when I aim at your throat. Writing this book cause the story's a joke. Easiest money when selling that dope. So when I'm gone, reminisce.
Yeah, Buttons is pretty dope as well. He's pretty sick. He's pretty great. He's a pretty good rapper. You know, like both. Not only has Amityville managed to sort of stand on his own, but he's also incorporated other people who are of a similar skill level and similar kind of style of him. And it sits so well within this. It allows you also to understand that a musician is not just solely focused. They're also capable of sharing the stage with someone. So, and in this situation, I think it's the better for it. It's a nice palate cleanser.
Day one, ever since. BKs with the light soul make the night glow like I'm Icarus. The clip riffs lift rooms. Mischief prone, get this soon. Or we'll nip this tune masked up. Stay in your lane, nigga, I'm riding that new road, bro. Counting that money, cause money they know that I too dope cold. But what you gonna do when it leaves? Everything sunny till Amity creeps in your dreams.
When I'm gone, remember me. When I leave, I will be something more than your daughter's that.
That's the point. I suppose at some point, with all the talk about coming for the person in your sleep and the nightmares and coming back from the dead and everything like that, you know, it's almost like, hey, at some point you're gonna get knifed. You're gonna get shanked, right?
When you sleep, I will creep with my league in the shadows you will see. While they marching with
Oh no, there's like a synthy kind of melody here, along with those vocal chops. And a fade out? Hey, I feel like we earned that. We haven't had a fade out yet. Nice choice there. Nice choice. March with Me is a great song as well. Again, it was nice to hear Buttons coming off his side of the story. The line sticks with me, something along the lines of, it wasn't easier than when I was selling dope or something like that. It's more than just that typical, oh, you know, someone's like going to chase after the college students as they run around like the campsite or something like that with a knife or something. It's more than that. It's I think we are trying to relate it to real world stuff, and I think that it's nice to have something that's slightly more relatable and less fantasy-esque, but obviously not. You need to have a bit of both just to balance it out and keep it sort of more in Amityville's niche. So it's, yeah, this is the first third of the album. Buttons kept up with Amityville, and they bounced off each other really well. They ought to be proud of themselves. With Older Ego, track number 6.
You should already know when I'm on that star. My alter ego knows I don't give no fuck. When I'm cold like this, when I'm on them drugs. My cards been dealt like a royal flood. You should already know when I'm on that star. My alter ego
Done with that hook.
knows I don't give no fuck. When I'm cold
No
like
drums.
this, when I'm on them
Filled the
drugs.
piano.
Little fingers in the air who don't give no fuck. I can take
You know, sometimes you get people who say, you need between 38 and 50 something seconds to get to the main part of the song where people are going to be like, yeah, that's my jam. With Amityville, it took literally 0 seconds. So well done.
So you convert it with rhymes so they intertwine. Then scramble your mind one word at a time. Perfected with perverted like rhymes. They heard of this guy? Man, I swear there's something wrong. Man, I'm always on my back shit. You say I'm on drugs, by the way I'm making the cracks flip. Doing somersaults like rabbits out of a hat trick. Sicker than Magic Johnson, and I ain't even that sick. I know you're probably like, yo, who the fuck is that kid? Motherfucker's trash, and he ain't even that average.
I mean, I know this isn't through composed because we had the chorus at the start. It's just so entertaining to listen to Amityville. At this point in time with the album, I feel as if I personally don't have any. There's no risk of me having a terrible time with any of the next tracks. The quality has just been too strong for me to doubt him at this point. I'm invested. I mean, can you fault this? How would you improve this, right?
I murdered the witnesses like you should already know when I'm on that stuff. My alter ego knows I don't give no fuck. Cold like this when I'm on them drugs. Cards been dealt like a royal flood. You should already.
Again, we've got that calling response with the wow with the crowd. It's like he's calling out to them and they're responding. And then dick is kind of like the maybe part of the other part of the response or something like that. I'm not sure. It could just be like a musical thing, something to kind of spice up the second half of it.
fucks. It's the 400 mafia, family she love. Just because bitches love me and they swallow my nuts. I gave them blunts, then they all just wanna give me some lust. It's a rush, how I fuck them in and leave in the dust. Fisticuffs.
Yeah. Now, obviously, this isn't for kids. End of the day, though, I mean, if he's getting it, good on him, man. Good on him, right?
I know you love me that much. Keep in touch, cause I know you just a freak with a gut. It's more cushion for the push and put my dick in a slut. Now I'm absurd. The world hangs on every word, and every verse has a complicated, shady like curse. It just works to the point I'm at the brink of a turn. I don't really mean to be mean, it's just me cause it works. Can't you see how I always play the devil at times? It's because I can't be touched with my lucrative rhymes. So by the time that you realize what the fuck I just said, I'll already have a drunken mama's lay in my bed. And I said,
Damn, that cuts, eh? It's such a mad diss, because it's almost like, by the time you figure out who I am, I'll already be successful. You're already behind the game. It's a hell of a way to get into it. Maybe this is like people complaining about his alter ego going into the becoming the devil or something like that. It's interesting. I've heard some really wild stories over my time doing reviews from people within these albums. It's so cool. Like, if this is based off their legitimate life experiences, I'm really happy that they're finding success. You know, as long as nobody's getting hurt, right? Like, actually getting hurt. The charisma in that vocal performance, though, it's succulent, you know?
Follow me like my glove back. Stick my teeth in them and leave them dead in the blood. I'm coming back from the horrorcore scene. You know who it be. It's MAD.
Ah, horrorcore, of course. What am I talking about? I've listened to horrorcore stuff before, but my brain didn't click that this was like literally maybe a part of that genre.
Double L3, I disappeared on that ass. Dip them back with the flames. Spark the blunts for you cunts like a light to your brain. Yeah, now there's an idea. Wrecking ball with the chain. No matter the size at all, I'm gonna slaughter you, days. My version of Saul's more brutal this way. And when the curtain calls, I still have permission to rage. Hey. You already know when I'm on that stuff. The eagle knows I don't give no fuck. I go like this when I'm on them drugs. Cards big down like a royal flood. You should already know when I'm on that stuff.
Oh, he's kind of like imitating a turntable, isn't he? The ticka ticka ticka, yeah, the wicka wicka. Of course he is. Of course he is. I was thinking it was something else. The piano line loops with the drums and the bass. Yeah, again, the bass is fairly minimal. It's solely vocal focused at this point. I mean, to be fair, if you need to use an alter ego to kind of get through life and to kind of have like a stage name or something like that, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Just as, again, like as long as you're entertaining people and you're not like hurting people, then what's wrong with that, right? Good on him. Alter ego. Like, we're basically at the halfway point of the album here after Invoke's Interlude. Yeah, great first half to it. And we have got 15 tracks to listen through today. So it's a few. Obviously, if you're watching this and you'd rather just watch the album in your own time, I'd recommend doing that. Have a listen to it, just vibe with it. Just maybe don't do it in a dark room because you might get spooked. I don't know. As we've gone through, we've kind of stepped away a little bit, I think, from the really intense sort of horror aspect of it. And we've kind of gotten more into the kind of like gangster rap-ish kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that. There are elements of the horrorcore stuff, or the horror rap stuff, but yeah. Invoke. Nice return back to the original phrase, the Hex intro. Thunder is nicely panned in the sides. Those screams are so visceral, dude. Sound design is fantastic, the foley looks good, samples are well chosen. I like the cat sample in the March With Me one as well, that was a really great meow from that cat. And we got the kill being revolved in that feedback. I'm just going to take a brief break just to get some water and just go for a walk around. Be back in a sec. And let's continue with Scream featuring Amityville and It's Your Boy H2. It's Your Boy H2. Oh, we're bringing it in from Interlude at the end of it. Oh, nice piano line coming in here as well, though. Hang on a minute. Just tripping. I thought I heard something for a moment. Hey, there's a drum fill there. I dig it. It's nice to have those occasionally. Just something different, you know, in addition to the constant existence of that theme there.
Tell me what you see, 'cause we don't see the same. I see it.
Oh, that's a sexy little synth lead we got there and among the chorus parts.
I enjoy them all, far as the eye can see. When you look in my eyes, tell me what you see, 'cause we don't see the same. I see it differently. I've never been afraid of any kind of screams. I enjoy them all, far as the eye can see. I was gonna take a break from my killing spree, but they summoned me. Come alive in the seance, give them another.
Cool. Good. We're bringing it back to the Interlude and the intro. Nice. We got a little bit of a refrain, a reminder of what we initially came from.
The night terrors that you ain't never see. I killed all the West Craven's villains in my own horror scenes. I took the look off Billy so I can hear the screams. Such a different emotion for me when I see you bleed. After I hit you on the phone, you try to cop a plea. Then I had to remind you about your boy Steve. Now you stuck in the corner saying this couldn't be. Home alone.
Again, I'm loving the spooky organs alongside the drum groove and the bass, the piano synth bits. There's a lot of different instruments within this track. I like the increased complexity and variety within the arrangement.
Nobody else, just you and me. Look,
it's an extended theme and it loops well.
Got both doors covered up now, can't fucking leave. Then I broke through your vocal cords with a fucking squeeze. Took the mask off my face, I stabbed you repeatedly. Gutted out your intestines, then I took out your spleen. Hung you up by a rope on a tree so your family can see. When you look in my eyes.
Dude, so I suppose this is about making the people in this horrorcore scene like that. He talked about getting rid of the Wes Craven villains. Damn, dude. It's relentless. It is a horror show, isn't it?
I see it differently. I've never been afraid of any kind of screams. I enjoy them all, far as the eye can see. When you look in my eyes, tell me what you see, 'cause we don't see the same. I see it differently. I've never been afraid of any kind of screams. I enjoy them all, far as the eye can see.
They asked me if I'm ready to meet a machete. Freddy said.
Great contrast in regards to the frequency range, the delivery here, the textures and coloration of the voice here. It's Your Boy H2. A great choice for the second round.
Me to wake 'em up, my swings are deadly, departed, fucking Arctica. Nobody harder than cold-hearted, guarded by a flatliner calling me the Schumacher. Direct like Wes and Chupacabras come to your house and chew your mama. Blue Saddam, like I'm back in time and half the time I'm laughing with the chance of flashing rocks right above your eyes. And while you decompose, I high-five the flies with more fright than five guys. Hand to hand, face to face, hold the hole. I'm a perverted motherfucker poking every spot you rot your soul in.
Cool. I just want to listen through the start of that verse again just to sort of like hear his one in total, just because I got taken aback by the change there.
Never been afraid. I can see.
They asked me if I'm ready to meet a machete. Freddy said he needed me to wake him up. My swings are deadly, departed, fucking Arctica. Nobody harder than cold-hearted, guarded by a flatliner calling me the Schumacher. Direct like Wes and Chupacabras come to your house and chew your mama. Blue Saddam, like I'm back in time.
Again, I'm liking the double tracking his vocals in some part. There's a nice presence to the mix. Again, the flow is similar to what we get with Amityville. It's just you can clearly hear the difference between the two in regards to their range and like their vocal range. As well as this is less gentle than what we've had with Amityville. Although at some parts it also went harder because there's a bit of vocal fry in some of those bits in the second and that latter half of that first verse.
With the chance of flashing rocks right above your eyes, and while you decompose, I high-five the flies with more fright than five guys. Hand to hand, face to face, hold the hole. I'm a perverted motherfucker poking every spot you rot your soul and rocking slow. I'm hood with it, knocking down the door. Nuts you're allergic to is misery if you mess with me. My life is when I write with knives across the board. No more disguise, you paid a price like Vincent H2. Michael Myers killing them with good riddance. I'm the dream weaver, please believe it. You won't make it through the night. Slice your eyes, you'll never see us.
Slice your eyes, you'll never see it. Great wordplay there. Great wordplay. I know it's not literally stabbing people and hanging them from trees. I know that it's metaphorical or figurative, but at the same time, still, I guess especially for the scene that this comes from, it makes a lot of sense, and it's been consistent for the vast majority of it. I think that anybody who's a fan of music within the genre will also appreciate this, and I hope that they can give it a chance, give it a full listen.
In my eyes, tell me what you see, cause we don't see the same. I see a different me. I've never been afraid of any kind of screams. I enjoy them all, far as the eye can see. When you look in my eyes,
You know, back before we go into the second loop of this, it's just kind of charming, really. It's like, oh, it's like someone kind of preparing for like a sermon or something like that.
see, cause we don't see the same. I see a different me. I've never been afraid of any kind of screams. I enjoy them all, far as the eye can see.
You know, I think this song basically speaks of Amityville and It's Your Boy H2 discussing that they're not afraid of doing what's required in order to find success within the music industry, and they'll literally take anything they need to in order to overcome that. It's got a weirdly wholesome kind of vibe to it, despite the gruesome kind of imagery there. I don't personally mind it. Again, like, anyone who's watched horror films has probably seen worse than what they're hearing now. It's great music though. It's interesting storytelling, and this personally is probably my favorite, primarily just because of the level of like development of their musical theme, and the hook was phenomenal. Like, talking about what seeing in your eyes, and they see a different me, and there's just different realities between the fourth wall and them, and I like that contrast there. You know, they've gone through stuff to get to the point where maybe they are like that, and it's just you know, yep, they're my favorite off of it. The Wickening though, track number 9. I assume the 3 is an E backwards for The Awakening. We're going from Interlude and Invoke. Oh, those vocal chops are kind of they're a bit chopped up, aren't they? I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. It's just very unsettling. Nice door foley there.
I'm so unstoppable, way better than phenomenal. Touring it in juggernauts is what I gotta do. A lot of y'all didn't think that it's possible for me to flow over with all kind of obstacles. In my mind, I'm a fucking psychological, abominable snowman called popsicle. So diabolically astronomical, with a little bit of cold-hearted chronicles. Should've put a plug at the hospital. Get shocked by the doctors, I'm bonkers, fool. In a sense, I'm Hannibal Lecter on the record, just coming to wreck it, then I eat your food. Puzzle y'all like I'm Jigsaw. Bitches got me fucked up like I'm switched on. Nicolas Cage like his face off. If the rhyme is a limit, then I'm space gone. Nailing you bitches like fake.
Dude, listening to like lines like should have pulled the plug at the hospital, comparing himself to Hannibal Lecter. There's complexity to this character. It sounds like a kind of a broken individual, to be honest, for not just for the murderous intent and coming back from the dead and everything, but it sounds like they've had a pretty difficult life in some respects. Well, we'll continue with this.
All at range, no SIM cards, cutting all ties like a clip-on. Now we catching cases like a state charge. Hit the waist, it's a race car. Driving all drunk, no brakes on. That's the type of craze that I stay on. It's like child's play, no crayons. Life in the game, but I play along. Coming up short, cause I came along like a Boston, Massachusetts marathon bomb. Almost got caught and I blew the Pentagon. This ain't one of those sing-alongs. I don't give a fuck if y'all care it all. Truth be told, I'ma chill in the cold, cause all I wanna do is just scare them all.
Again, it's incredibly unsettling, you know. You're hearing sounds either from horror films or other parts or that have been sampled, or maybe they've recorded the screams and put the sounds of the instruments in there, recorded them. You know, like, either way, it's very unsettling and unnerving, especially to someone like me who maybe isn't as familiar with the horrorcore stuff, the horror trap stuff, as I might like need to be more so like, okay, I'm used to this and I can just not be emotionally affected by it. But I think part of music is that you're meant to feel things at the same time. If you become desensitized or apathetic to it, then the music isn't nearly as effective. You know, it just becomes the same as any other type of music you hear, and it inadvertently could even become boring, which I think could be the ultimate sin with this kind of music, especially with how incendiary it is for this content. Not in a bad way. I'm not trying to say it's attention seeking, but this isn't like piano lounge jazz or like guitar at a park or something like that.
Oh my God, I don't believe it. Got the nerves of these motherfuckers tweaking. Say seeing is believing. I'ma squeeze them till these fuckers stop breathing. Cut your eyelids off, make you see it. Stab you right in the face to repeat it. I don't give a fuck about you screaming. You know I'm snore harder for a reason. I don't really care about you bleeding. Get punched in the face, have you leaking? I'm addicted to the shit like I'm feeding. I can tell that my demons coming creeping. Try to tell me little secrets that the old new me couldn't peep it. That I've been on my own way, better on play peep, but I'm still trying to fucking reach it. Don't ask me shit about the flow. All you need to know is still gonna be cold out. Hurricane to watch, it ain't played out. But the rain will stop when it's hailing out. Hit a patch of black ice, you spilling out. Bunch of all around you, you falling out. Bacardi breeze at ease, but still gold out. Every time you cashing in, it's called pulling out. 4.0.
Every time, did he just say, what did he just say then? I was vibing to it, but that line caught me. Hang on.
Bacardi breeze at ease, but still gold out. Every time you cashing in, it's called pulling out.
Every time you go to cash in, it's called pulling out or something like that. That's interesting. There's lots of interesting little lines here, but if I was to stop it every single time I heard something that sounded like impressive, it's better just to hear it through and vibe with it and just come to a conclusion at the end. There's different angles presented all the time.
Motherfuckers on my side when I ride A&R, no one else does it better. Sicker than a swine flu, who the fuck knew that a psychopath to make a beat put together? Like a modern day Frankenstein, yup, the game is mine, time for me to be a go-getter.
Yeah, I legitimately think that this, like, sort of woman screaming in the murder scene and everything is him going to work, needing to make the gains that he needs to in order for his career to continue to advance. Great. No complaints. No complaints. You know, we've come to terms with the fact that we're back from hell, come back from the dead, and we now have to continue. We actually have to go to work and make this happen. Just like in your music career, you can have a bad time, or a terrible time, or maybe an impossibly awful time. If you can just find a way to claw yourself back up to a point where things become manageable or feasible, your life will improve. The Awakening, track number 9, beautiful stuff, man. Sinister. So bass heavy. Interesting choice of the bell for the cymbal in here.
Let me remind you just in case you forgot. I'm not right in my head when I think out the box. But I'm down with the squares whether you like it or not. I'm MJ with the socks when I light up your block. There's not a lot of time left, look at the clock. The numbers going down, I gotta let off the shot. My nigga Mook is Dame Lil when he get to the spot. And I'll mix your fluid with Henny and a couple of rocks. I'm so fucked up that I can't be contained. Too many of you.
Is that a xylophone or something like that? Have they got a xylophone in this amongst the bass and the Moogish bass and the drums? It's so much fun. This is so much fun. I love this track. It's
that's why I keep to myself and just stay in my lane.
kind of sounds like a 70s drama or something like that, or like detective show.
It's a headache for days. So in my frame, my unknown forces join in the play with the ski mask on. They be ready to slay. Once again, it's the sinister minister killer. He's crazy.
Again, contrast between the tones, pitches, and timbres of the verse and chorus sections on the vocals, and the kill being continued from the Interlude. Okay, and I also like the panning of the double track vocals on the side, the da 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 in it, in the center. It's great stuff. Like those little things that enable consistent attention to it. If you had it all in the same part of the stereo field, it wouldn't have had nearly the same effect. You gotta engage those dopamine receptors, you know.
A bunch of spineless bricks talking shit on the daily. Behind closed doors, wouldn't dare try to face me. Don't get them in his feelings when it comes to this space, G. I'll punch you in your face for even trying to disgrace me. I know I'm a little too psychotic and racy. Do you bitches bitches dirty like a meat from waist deep. Kidnap DC for ransom fees, that ain't cheap. Got a vasectomy to dumping Gucci's you can't reach. Think I ain't shit now, you might be right, B. I hang girls from street lights just so they can sightsee. Seeing is believing, I don't peep, no one like me.
Hang girls from lampposts so that they can sightsee. Damn, dude. It is incredibly sinister, isn't it? This is really messed up. And he admits that he's racy in this. But it's almost like we're totally okay with it. That's just the bribe that we're going for.
Smell of fear when I'm near, highly excites me.
That's the mood.
Sinister, Minister, killer, he's crazy. Once again, it's the sinister, Minister, killer, he's crazy. Once again, it's the sinister, Minister, killer, he's crazy. Once again, it's the sinister, Minister, killer, he's crazy. I'm just a boy.
Third verse.
Kitty man talk.
Third verse. This is a storytelling episode, isn't it?
My bars is on meth, man, killer bees leave you shook. A lot of y'all Tory lames sound the same in my book. And that's why I can never coexist with you crooks. My thoughts work out my head like a mind of its own. Now can't you fucking tell when I'm stuck in my zone? Ghost face tendencies when you pick up the phone. Got your ass screaming when you home and alone. But I'm so dope, you probably take me for jokes. Kinda like I'm getting drunk with my nigga the Pope. I'll make you all commit suicide with the rope. After I'm done with that, then send me yodels out of the coat. I don't wanna switch it over yet, I'm nice with the flow. I must have said the same shit different times, I don't know. But I know I wanna put some of you niggas in yokes to the point your face turn purple and blue, then you stroke. Once again, it's the sinister, man.
Yeah, we are not holding back with this. The imagery is strong, you know. The tension is there. We really are eager to simply, we have that animosity, that bloodlust there. It's full on.
The killer, he's crazy.
But it still doesn't necessarily feel over the top to me. Part of the deal is the sense of humor. The sense of humor evens out some of the darker and more kind of grim bits of it. It's about finding that equilibrium. Great, and dude, no complaints about that whatsoever. It was nice to have a longer form track that was just Amityville, just to explain his side of the story there. We got Villainous though, track number 11. I think we've got one more collab with DJZ and Asia, but we'll get there in time. Sorry, I've been talking over the starts of these. We'll go back and listen to that.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
This the afterlife of child's play. So get the fuck out my face before I really put my knife away. I do my killing in all kind of ways. Take your personal voodoo doll, twist it up until I break your legs. Send the babysitter on the way.
That was filthy, that sound effect there. It was very, very unsettling. That crack, that break there.
Fall out the kitchen window right before she can even pray. Ain't no such thing as a goodness sake. I be the teacher with the rule of the dead, and I still got an A. Now I gotta get my wife to slay. Kill a couple of cops with the blade she uses to shave my face. I'll even get caught on purpose just so we make a break. I'm like rotten apples with the forbidden taste.
It's nice that we're discussing the lengths we'll go to be infamous. The idea of killing cops with the razor blade that's used to shave his face, like that, that's some very strong imagery there. It's kind of screwed up, but that's the entirety of the point of it, right?
I'm so sick in the brain, I
Those
really can't explain. What
the
goes
little
on
stutters
in my
as
head,
well
'cause
are
it is
unsettling.
insane. All I know is I'm a race till I'm dead in my grave. Arnold Schwarzenegger, all of you niggas like your end of days. Do it all over again, never switch up my ways. I get all my ideas right out the
It's kind of stuttery and staggering, and it's it really is someone kind of struggling to really keep their sense of reality within the world. They've gone within their own head to another universe where all of this is like a part of their vibe, and it's wild, man. It's wild.
page. Mix it up with some critters back in my minion's age. Then it's straight to the army base, no dummy grenade. I'm a natural born villain, what more can I say? fuck your beanstalk stories. I'm jack of all trades. Slice your throat open again, clean with the vicious blade. Drain out your blood fluid until your body decays. My head's been acid tapped since I've been digging through crates. I'm here for all the souls that I see and I take. Snap your neck quick with the twist of a fate. Decapitate Leatherface and then I levitate.
Yeah, it's that kill is coming back here from the Interlude. We're in the second phase here where it's all about the actual murder now. Where we're actually been invoked. We've had to think about where we're at. We've talked about who we are. And yeah, we're getting down to business. And we are Villainous. It's some crazy stuff, man. I know this is self-evident. But it's just nice to listen through an album that has that kind of thematic development. It almost seems like a chronological tale, you know? You know, like, it's not something that you get always. Sometimes people just put random ideas together and then shove it in an album. It's like, how are these connected? But that isn't the case here. The bass and the drums are well mixed. Really simple bass line, but you don't really need more than that. That kind of tremolo synth part.
Bombing across the nation, I'm starting to lose my patience. I'm getting tired of waiting. Since I murdered abnormal war activities been activated, I'm saying I've been sinning with Satan, Lord. I already told you I ain't for praying. For fun, some of your nuns getting hung in the basement. I make no understatements. All my shit razor blading. The chills get you motivated. Now your heart's racing. It's too hard for escaping. I'm coming in blazing while you fundraising. I'm still playing. It's fun slaying.
I did it again.
It would have been a lot of fun getting the different Foley parts sort of for this track. I appreciate the effort that's been put into how do I say this? The effort that's been put to making this more than just an album, but also like an audio, sort of a theatrical experience here with these little bits of extra Foley and samples and stuff like that. It's just a little bit more than what I usually get, especially from like my first impressions. You know, sometimes you'll get musicians who like do it naturally from the get-go, but Amityville is no casual. This is the real deal, you know. They know how to set an atmosphere, a mood, environment for the listener to sit in. And at this point, you're already sucked in, so they can just throw it at you and continue to keep the spooks alive. And you're just hearing more and more what they have to say, and it's fantastic. Fantastic effort. Well done to everyone involved with it. That was Villainous. We got balloons now, though. Spotify is doing the thing where it doesn't show the cursor down the bottom, which is very irritating. It does it when I press my mouse, but not when I press the space bar. So it's great. Thanks, Spotify.
Here this time of year.
It's fine.
Well, you feel like you could just about die. But you know what they say about Derek. No one who dies here ever really dies.
It's just something about
Oh, that was an It reference, right?
It's been stuck in my brain and my mind all day. It's like a ghost that floats through your dark hallways. I can be your host to let you out your
You better
cage.
not come down here, that ass won't float. Hold you on the water until you choke, squeeze both.
Great way of introducing it with balloons. You kind of get a feeling that it was an It reference there. At the same time, though, you know, if it was too subtle, you get it confirmed there. You get the hook coming after that. So you got two different parts that are equally attention, sort of like your attention is pulled to it. It's change, it's development. And then suddenly we're in a verse section and it's already 45 seconds through. It's just wild, dude. It's a fun trip.
Vocal cords until they broke. Light my split up, cause I pop smoke. Every toke I blow, I swear ain't no joke. Bar for bar, I spot from far east coast. And I know you blind bitches see I'm dope. The beast to me release with different strokes. Whoa.
I see you blind bitches think dude, the piano line's frenetic though.
So much I killed this slow. On your mark, get ready,
I like the increased energy there.
The darkest parts of my harvest.
And then we got those synthy kind of horror pads there.
I don't care what anybody be thinking about, yo. None of the motherfuckers can see me, bro. And no matter what you do to me, I'm still gon' show that I'm not to be fucked with. Cause I'm like grown. My pictures are different because I'm sick and demented. I'm never timid, you bitches. Y'all niggas wishing I live it. I'm just stupid and ignorant because I'm nothing you witness, but I'm just dead on myself. My new soul is imprinted.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna give that a like, just because I like the more clean, kind of gritty vocals in the chorus. The flow and the chorus is sublime. And all in all, dude, it's a great time. I'm already used to what Amityville is all about at this point, so like having more of it, but with that id angle is cool. Those kicks as well, they smack you around, don't they? It's nice to have that aggressive tonality with the percussion. It's an easy thing to do, but sometimes people miss it, you know?
I'm a menace like Dennis, a horrified image. Horrifying, I put the horror side in it. Like a knife from a kitchen, my mind's frigid. Take his mask off, murder the fine witness. So hide bitches, don't hide behind stitches. Cut, don't get poked, no disguise with it. I don't mind if no trick can dirty wine with it. And I'm fine with both mine, I like mine witches. Snatch your riches quick with my misses. Rob your hood so fast you might miss it. No lies told, I'm revived in my image with my evil vibes. They hope I die living. I forgot all about the other guy dissing. Track got ripped apart in my vision. He went missing for months now. He genre switching cause the coon was straight goon with no fuss give. This ain't hocus pocus, my flow the dopest from coast to coast. It's just
Again, like there's not really for me to talk about. Like I need to be paying attention in full to this review in regards to the you know, just in regards to every single word that's being said here, because there's so much to take in and appreciate. But it means that I've got less room to sort of go, oh, blah 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 blah, you know, because there's really there's no need. The theme that's instantiated at the beginning is continued throughout the end of the 4 minutes. It's not like you have a huge amount of change within the instrumental section. You have the chorus parts here, the choir as backing parts is a kind of a pad kind of thing. Oh, verse 3. So yeah, we were definitely making the most of the real estate that we have when we have these 3 verse tracks, these long form ones. I'm assuming the Knock Knock will have a verse for each of the 3 musicians involved.
Play with the pitchfork for half the night. You bleeding internally, got me right. Drinking some holy water right out the pipe. After it's spite, then we taking a flight in the cold air balloon till we high some kites. Yup, watch your talk cause I slay off pipe. You pussies ain't brave enough to start this fight. I get a couple of mics to cut your lights. Knock your eye loose and drop your sight. Then I rip them apart, tear them from limb. Hack the axe to the blade gets thin. Give it back full of cracks to find your friends with the bat. Then got that slim with the cold wind.
The percussiveness of the vocals in this part are fun and interesting. So, you know, like Amityville is like very conscious of where he needs to be more smooth, with more of a legato feel to it. And then like, especially if he's got really punchy drums, having the vocals punchy as well, if you can get them in sync, it's really effective. Because it kind of cuts you like a knife, right? And that's kind of the vibe that's kind of the mood we want with this song.
Oh, from the acolyte. Prayer can't even save you from the afterlife. I'm the worst influence is the Antichrist. That's why me and sinning are combined alike, right? It's just something about you.
Cool. I don't know who's doing this vocal part. Is it Amityville or someone else? I mean, either way, it's fine. I don't mind. Yeah, don't do a double chorus.
This country with $14 in his pocket, and he didn't ask for a handout the way the people come in here these days. You know what he did?
What did he do, Mrs. Kirsch?
My father joined the circus.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, it makes me want to watch the movie again, but then again, that movie scared the crap out of me, so it's like, maybe I don't want to watch it again. It just makes me really uncomfortable, you know? It made me really, really uncomfortable. Yeah, Balloons is fantastic. It's, I think it is about people being sort of like allowing someone to possess you and going on a murdering spree and being able to be uninhibited with your actions and making them float. They'll float too, right? You'll float, I think it was. DZJ Ikasia. Knock Knock. Let's go. Track 13.
Fear. The spectacle of fearsome acts. Somebody steals from me, I cut off his hands. He offends me, I cut out his tongue. He rises against me. I cut off his head, stick it on a pike. Raise it high up so all in the streets can see. That's what preserves the order of things. Fear.
Again, good choice there. Sets precedent for what's to come. At this point, we trust that we're going to follow through with it, so it's...
Telling beats.
The way I've been feeling, nobody could.
Have we had that before? Did they make the song?
With that, I'm bringing bringing chainsaws and axes back like lumberjacks, ready to hack off any member of mumble rap. You can tell I'm lightning when I be striking thundercats. I know that's going over your caps, go run with that. Oh, you scary now, motherfuckers, you better double back. Gotta make sure you dead in zombie land with a double tap. Running with your life in my hands, I never fumble that. Finders keepers, snatch cracking your humble acts. I don't give a fuck about feelings, Jack, I crumble that. Middle finger saran wrapped inside of a bubble wrap. I used to be anemic, my wife got me my hunger back. Feasting on you pussies all day.
My wife got me my hunger back. Damn, dude, that's wholesome if it weren't for the entirety of this album.
Starving cat, shorty gave me more to eat like Big Macs. I'm loving that. Put a cold in your body, have you asking for summer back. Leave you sick to your stomach, full of puke with a bunch of rats. Fuck with my family, they finding you where the fish is at. And if you tattletale, then we showing you where the snitch is at. Pick them off.
Nice work at bringing down the mood without the drums or anything like that. We don't need to have the drums the whole damn time. You can split up and compartmentalize, you know, a record in a way that's meaningful. You don't necessarily need to have just the same entire groove each time. This isn't something that like AmityVill does, but like with some hip hop and rap artists in particular, I get they just copy and paste the beat for the whole entire song, and it's so boring. Part of that is because people purchase beats and they don't really have the ability to shake them up too much because they're usually like one set loop. But like I think a lot of hip hop and rap artists are getting a bit wiser to that nowadays, and they're avoiding getting stuck into that bubble, which is good.
Rip your tongue out of your mouth and no more chitter chats. New York flow through my brain down to the fitted caps. I'm so cold with the fire, it's like you lit the match. Burn a hole right through your soul and you couldn't live with that. 17 stabs to your back, now that's a fucking act.
Corrupted as Vlad the Impaler. My brain's a database with strategies of serial killers, current and passed away. A walking biohazard, all my thoughts are lethal fusions. Is cellularly equal mutants, barbarically eat through humans, hysterically beat you useless, bloat and rot you alive. You'll enter a fugue state, my quotes will lock you inside. Drop the divine beings you pray to in times of crisis. I crucify ancient gods, do regicides in my vices.
Again, similar methodology of delivery to Amityville from DGZ. Similar methodology of approach from DZJ. I'm struggling with DZJ for some reason. It's just that I've never needed to pronounce DZJ before, so my brain's like, let's just screw it up in the middle of an album review. That's a great thing to do. No disrespect, man.
Tire put you inside it because you played with fire. Raid a shed and gift wrap your main desires in razor wire. Hand it to you, drip it with chemicals, drain your veins with pliers.
Keep a similar methodology to what we had from Amityville.
Name on flyers and lead them to you. I traumatize gangs and killers. Tie you up with your chains and I'll crush you with hanging pillars. My saliva is what flows through the heart of Bane. Leaves his body burns and solidifies to sharpen blades. Hack the government.
It makes me sad. I know that whoever made the beat is keen to advertise their material, but it just seems so unprofessional to me when like beat makers go and put the telling beats thing in the middle of a bit of something like that. It just seems so unprofessional. Like if your beats are good enough, people will recommend you to others. You don't need to shout it out in the middle of a track, especially multiple times. Like at the start, it's like, okay, you're the person who made it, but they keep doing it, and it's just like, stop. This isn't, and just to be clear, this isn't Amityville's fault or DZJ's or EK's fault at all. It's nothing like that, you know.
Launch a nuke and leave the survivors deformed with flash burn. The 9 gates of hell set to leave them like burnt pages, but you need to worry about the aftermath like nerve agents. Collapse the star with half a bar, leave your faction scarred. The bowl of my resistance could rip out the back of cars. You can find me, just follow glow where the flame's at. Breaking skulls gives me the layered feeling of payback.
This the dark side of my mind, you can't play at. If you want this type of heat, then you can say that. I'll rinse you through the Tsukuyomi. I'll capture your mind and make you sit through all my showings. I'm keeping boom bap at the top of the list. I'm topping your list, knocking your shit before you had a chance to coexist. This is a demon crime. I'm on my demon grind. Shave my canines with a blood.
Yeah, I think that Ikasia, DZJ did really, really well. It was a really pleasant performance to listen through. Ikasia sounds reasonably confident.
My demon shine. Yeah, this is gritty versus subtle rap. Like Amity, I don't do business with y'all Thundercats. Put my cloud over my head to get my thunder back. Your discography ain't nothing to my almanac. I've been clawing at the game like a Kodiak. This type of pressure exerting will make your almond crack. Let this Mac hit your daemon in. I squeeze your camp into a chirogen chamber, reload it, and then I aim again. It's Ikasia, the cold-hearted goon.
Oh, Ikasia. I know now. So that's great.
It's better than watching cartoons. You ain't entertainment, it's just entertaining. I'm just self-sustaining. Leave you having a conversation with death. Cold wrist, putting shots in your vest. Leave your brain on smack and your mouth on meth. Put your body in the chest. I'm the best. Write it out and put it on my crest. Yeah.
And just following it out, I'm surprised we didn't have a verse at the end from Amityville to clean it up, just to kind of carry us out. But that's okay. We were confident with what we had. Amityville, DZ, Jay, and Ikasia, both, they all three of them rapped well. I was happy with each of their performances individually. The overall theme from what I got from Knock Knock is someone coming to collect a debt of some kind. You know, you had the gangster start saying they'll cut off certain bits of the body if they do things they don't like. And I think that this was about people coming to the comparing them to that. You know, each of these musicians comparing them to that, saying, yo, if you mess with me, this is what's going to occur to you. So I wouldn't recommend it. That's kind of the vibe I got with it. It does fit into the Amityville horror show theme here. You know, we got Witch Magic though, track number 14. I like the fade outs we have occasionally. I'm liking that it's also occasional, you know?
Something about you, I can't get away from it. It made me do the things that I do. You complete me. It can't be stopped, no matter how hard you try. You just a different type of vibe, not gonna lie. How I took one look at you and I quickly you caught my eyes so fast by surprise. I just wonder how you really got me so hypnotized. So stuck on the fact we click, but with you it's a nightly wit.
Again, I'm liking the panning of those drums in the stereo field here. I'm also enjoying the reverb chains on the fielded pianos. You know, it's had that kind of spooky aesthetic the whole entire time here, like we're in an abandoned house covered in cobwebs and dust,
that I wanna hold on
with
to,
flickering candles and someone out to get you who's behind you, you know?
Walks in them slippery trips. Cause I lust this shit that got me hooked real quick. I don't wanna let go of it. Soon as I go to forget, I remember there's no regrets. Even if I die for this, I won't be sadly missed. That's why I gotta be reminded me and you could coexist. Cause just like these psycho twins, we gonna be joined at the hip. Your love's got me feeling like I'm stuck inside of a twilight zone. With nowhere to go, but I don't want you to ever leave me alone. I'm a sad little pup without a shoe toy, kinda like I'm bad to the bone. I just wanna be stuck on you with the scent of your perfume straight to the dome. You my nightmare, that nightmares are scared of.
You're my nightmare, the nightmares are scared of, and then a scream. Great way of bringing it into that high kind of double-tracked head voice there with the scream. It's just that we've got stylistic consistency and cohesion throughout this, and I appreciate that. It's a really strong album.
I only got love for the jungle like bear hugs. Squeeze you with a grip quick till the blood drips on a bare rug. The love I got for you is Michael weird, I know my dear. With you in my corner, yeah, there's nothing I would fear. This is my love letter to you, boo, I'll make this clear. I still get nervous around you, my heart shedding tears. Shorty says she in love with me, and she looking for some company. And she want a real good this time, so good I be swimming in the skin deep. Never met a real freak, the real me is what I always will be. To her, see, I'm nothing less than a perfection, I'm the best. That's why she feels me. Not to be a lonely night, but on the bright side, I don't have to. The only spark the fly is in the night sky.
Again, I'm loving the orchestral drums that we've got here, and the chorus going kind of is very tense and unsettling, but it fits the ambience so well.
When it wants to, like a shooting star, like it's supposed to be. Made me wanna reenact with some rosaries. So you go to sleep till I can really make you rest in peace, like a G.O.D. I like when I can sleep in you, without making the peep. Every night of the week I put the freak in you, so deep in you. Through the hills of my eyes, nobody's seeing you. Cause everybody that's blind couldn't see it through. Got me thinking that this couldn't be true. You were blasted in the skies like a sneeze I blew. Cause untied is what I mean when I say I chew. I be feasting every night when you lay I chew. Y'all be eating booty like it's groceries. I don't even really know what that's supposed to mean. I only grab at it when it comes close to me. Then I overeat a pussy cause I'm ready to feast. I know shorty really digging the freak and she don't mind leaving stains all over the sheets. I be daydreaming about me, making a week and give a knockout dick and never sleep for a week. Now you zoned out, feeling so high with no parachute. You couldn't calm down, even stop me if you wanted to. Now I got the game locked at the hot spot and I won't fly. I'ma flip the script to give it back shots to the G pops like a cherry top. Horrific dick like a freak shot. Lot of peeping times where the creeps watch. Tongue deep in your sweet spot. Vicky's secrets make the panties drop.
It's very explicit. It's very explicit. I'm liking the call and response here between the two here, on the left and right of the stereo field. You know, we've gotten past the horrorcore aspects of it in regards to like the killing, the mutilation and stuff. We're just getting down to it with this witch magic, dude.
Better call the cops. At the door, giving knock knocks. Grabbing blankets while the bed rocks. Kicking and screaming that it don't stop. You got my nightmare. That nightmares are scared of.
We're putting that chorus again here.
You in my scare club. I only got love for the jungle like bear hugs. Squeeze you with a grip quick till the blood drips on a bear rug. The love I got for you is Michael weird, I know my dear. With you in my corner, yeah, there's nothing I would fear. This is my love letter to you, boo, I'll make this clear. I still get nervous around you, my heart shedding tears.
Witch magic. Dude. Yeah, okay, again, I wasn't expecting this one. I'm not sure why. The Hex kind of Interlude stuff was maybe he's talking about that person who was speaking in tongues in those interlude sections. But there's definitely a Sinister witch magic. The whispers are, yeah. Give it, yeah, it's very it's kind of weirdly erotic in a weird way. It's you know, horror is complicated, right? Horror is complicated, you know. Wow, we've gotten a lot out of this album, haven't we? Because we've got one more track to go after this witch magic. Spellbound Interlude. This is the last one. I'm kind of sad. It's been a long video though. Like, this will be over an hour. Music box and the child laughing and the giggling, and it's all very creepy, and I don't know if I like it. That was the entire album. Oh, hang on. And that was the entire album. Spellbound. It was the person, I think, they got summoned, and at the end they were caught in a web that they could never escape from. It was kind of the unsettling conclusion to a horror film that I didn't realize I'd be listening to today, despite the title of the album literally being the Amityville Horror Show. This is my conclusion, or this is the conclusion, rather, of the Amityville Horror Show 3 by Amityville. You know, this has been a journey. You know, we made it to the end though. Thank you to whoever was watching this at the end. If you've just skipped to the conclusion, as I'm trying to put that in my videos now, if people want a more succinct view of my thoughts on a track, then obviously that's there too. Welcome, either way. Amityville has created an album here, which is effectively, I think, about him coming back from the dead through being summoned by a witch. Basically slayed a whole lot of people, stood his ground, talked about how he got there. Had Ezio Boy, H2, DZ, J, and Acacia give their sides of the story, horrorcore compatriots, and effectively throughout this record we had a musician come in and basically just completely annihilate and decimate it. I mean, like, the stories here, overall, it was terrifying. There was a lot of, like, brutal sort of horror stuff, very spooky stuff going on. There was mutilation and murder and psychological kind of stuff going on as well. There was also some sort of really erotic kind of sexual stuff going on. There was violence and all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of stuff which will typically elicit a reaction from a listener. I think that's honestly the most important thing, is we've told a story here that will engage people, for better or for worse. I can't guarantee that this will be everyone's cup of tea, but that's not the point. This isn't the Amityville makes something for everyone so that they're happy album. This is the Horror Show 3 album, and I've spoken about the story of the individual tracks over time, but I think this is their latest attempt at storytelling. They've told the story of their resurrection, their exploits, and then they're controlled by the witch at the end. I think that's kind of a fantastic story that I haven't really heard that much. I think that they told it exceptionally well. It was so full of content, dude. So full of plot twists and turns and everything, while still keeping it relatively simple, I suppose, in the approach. That we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. But the vocal performances as well, whether it was clean vocals or whether it was the rapping, Amityville covered it. Great vocal technique, clear pronunciation there, comfortable within their range with some falsetto stuff as well. It wasn't a super overcomplicated vocal performance, but it didn't need to be. He just needed to emote well. He needed to have the energy and the charisma to be able to carry it, which he did. And none of those songs was a boring vocal performance. There was polish there, experience and expertise within the genre, and I love it. I love it so much, because when you start an album, if you get even the slightest inclination that it's just someone's first kind of day out, it can be very intimidating to review the rest of the long album by them, and I'm glad that we had a positive experience in that regards, despite the intensity of material. Now, we had a musician here who could not only rap and sing, understood music theory and composition well enough to handle the harmonies and the melodies here, also worked with people such as Buttons, It's Your Boy H2, DZJ, and Acacia to get the most out of their talents as well. And I think that each of these different collaborations with their own sort of material that just had Amityville in it. So it was great with or without additional features, but it's cool. I mean, I suppose in addition to all this, we have a musician who understands how to structure these tracks. Most of them had that traditional kind of verse chorus structure with a musical theme intro and out. You had some which had like 3 of the verse chorus things just for extended parts of the tale. Obviously, when you had Knock Knock, which had the 3 people involved, they had a verse each, and it was nice to let Acacia follow it out. It was Amityville's album, but they weren't like too kind of precious about letting someone else finish it. It's kind of dope. The structure was easy to follow, and none of the tracks felt like too much. There was very little filler in it. There was enough change to keep it sounding fresh, and we didn't linger too long on one idea. And I'm so glad we didn't do any double choruses just to peter out time. It would have been such a disappointment. We just had what we needed, and then we left and we did the next thing, and that's all we need, right? The instrumentation, there were just so many different themes. The overall vibe of this with the drums, strings, bass, piano, all the different Foley effects and everything like that, synth parts and stuff, was an album where we had someone trying to communicate. It was a horror film made into a CD, and it worked. There was no track where it left that approach or direction, and I think it was better for it. I think if you had tried to overcomplicate it by adding in some major stuff and kind of twisting perceptions, it would have been too alien for what we'd had before it, and we don't need to overcomplicate it. Just keep it something that people can follow that interests them, and if they already like your material or they're new to it, just make sure the first track isn't too long and that it sucks you in, and boom, you're done. Yep. And there was no issues whatsoever with the instrumental performances. They were recorded well. I'm not sure if they were sampled or not, but either way, it's fine. The production, recording, mixing, mastering was just sensational, flawless. EQing, stereo, panning, the effects change on the various instruments, limiting compression, the different sort of tracks of the vocal recordings and everything like that. The vocal recordings sounded spotless. EQing was fantastic. Aside from I think Knock Knock sounded like maybe it was released before the recording was done on some of the other ones. There was a slight change in the vocal EQing and stuff like that, but that I could hear. But it's fine. It's fine either way. The most important thing for me is does it all add up to it being worth an album? I think it was worth Amityville making this album. Considering it's on brand for them, I feel like this can only have accelerated and grown them beyond what they had been before they made it, as long as it's true and authentic to their direction and their sense of self and who they want to be as a musician. They've smashed it out. The only shame would be if they were trying to do this as an alter ego in order to make a name in the industry. I just feel like it's just, it sounds so authentic and organic that I have to trust that this is them doing what they love, and I really hope they find success. But thank you very much for watching my review of Amityville's The Amityville Horror Show 3. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out the Amityville's various social medias and Spotify page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.